Hi, this is Jesse,
And Noah.
and we're talking about our new album, The Sunshine Shoppe. What inspired the title, The Sunshine Shoppe? Is there a deeper meaning behind it?
Well, the Sunshine Shop was an old gift shop in Nashville, and it's kind of located near a lot of the hospitals, so it had a lot of things in it for kind of cheering people up that were, going through some stuff. The building is kind of abandoned now, or we don't know what's going on with it, but the building's great, the sign's great, so we took a picture in front of it and thought it would be a good title.
How would you describe the vibe of this new record compared to your past work? This record sort of picks up where we left off with the EP that we did last year. Our same core band members, our same band that goes out on the road with us, plus Mike Klooster. But we've moved to a studio called Wild Feather Recording in Hendersonville and working with a guy named Zach Cassick. So it sort of picks up where the last one left off and continues that, but the approach is really pretty much just us going into the studio with our band, with the songs we write, just doing it the way we feel like it needs to be done. Did you go into this project with a clear direction, or did it evolve as you went along?
Well, we kind of take the direction from the songs, so it kind of has to do with whatever songs we're writing and songs we have and what those songs need, and that kind of tells you what you have to do for the album. So we kind of let the songs lead the way.
In the studio where everything clicked and you knew you had something special. I think the first stuff we cut at Wild Feather were the two Christmas singles. So we knew we were going to put those out, and we just sort of used those to sort of try out the new studio situation. And it was pretty much immediately, during the recording of those that everything clicked. So we knew we wanted to come back and finish an entire project. Right next is I Told a Lie opens the album. What's the story behind that song?
Oh, the story behind that song. Well, we were just, wanted to write something that sounded like Dwight Yoakam, I guess. And so you kind of try to come up with, kind of like phrases to start with, and came up with I Told a Lie and came up with this guitar riff, and kind of had to start from there and work backwards and figure out what it meant.
Lovin' This Night feels like a standout track. Where did that come from?
I thought of the chorus when I was in the shower, and then kind of worked from there, and it was kind of that challenge of writing a happy song, or a song, that it's sometimes it's easier to write a sad song than a happy song, and we put a lot of we give a lot of credit to writers who do write sad songs, but really it's more difficult to write like a Smokey Robinson type song, or something that makes people feel good.
Are there any hidden lyrical Easter eggs or callbacks in songs that longtime fans might catch? I guess there's a song called Too Much that was on our EP last year, and when we did the EP, the song got changed quite a bit from the original concept. So we've kind of gone back and gone to the original demo and the original recording of it and re-recorded it in that style. So I'm hoping everybody will like this new take on it, because they probably haven't heard it yet. So, between the two of you on this album, any different from past projects?
I don't know if it's any different from past projects. I guess we're writing for we have a clear idea who the players are, because we've been playing with the same players for a while. So I guess we're writing more for our group because we know, sometimes in the past we haven't known exactly, what musicians we'd be working with. So it's kind of fun now to write, and then you have an idea, Mike will have this really cool thing to play on it, or Jared will have this cool thing, or Herschel will come with this. So I think that's probably the main difference, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah. But I mean, that was, that's kind of the approach on the EP as well. I mean, it's been the approach for a while. We've played with the same guys for a few years now, and it's, pretty much the perfect situation. And we've always been better at writing for a band, I think. And you get something, you get something more unique that way, and you kind of have an idea of what everybody's going to bring to it, but you also know to leave space for them to bring ideas that you don't expect from them too. So.
Well, probably with Old Cowboys, it was a song I wrote. I didn't necessarily know if we were going to record it. Putting that down and getting Riders in the Sky, that's kind of unexpected, I guess. It's a different song for us. It goes back to this kind of cowboy song like you might hear in like a 1940s movie. So I think, yeah, that was pretty unexpected.
Did you bring any outside players or co-writers this time around? Again, I think the main outside player, I guess, is Mike Klooster from Smash Mouth. He played on our last EP, and it's pretty much our touring rhythm section and us, plus Mike, that did most of the tracking, well, did all of the tracking and everything. And then so far our guests are Riders in the Sky on Old Cowboys. What does the Sunshine Shoppe represent in terms of your place in the current musical landscape? We try not to be in the current musical landscape. Hopefully it's in a landscape all its own. That's usually what we try for. It's, you try and stay aware of things that are going on and what's happening in the current musical landscape, but also, I don't want to think about it too much. I don't want it to, take away from it sort of being in its own space. And like Noah was saying earlier, it's mainly just letting the songs dictate where everything goes. Nostalgic but modern quality to your song. How do you strike that balance?
Well, I think part of that is, growing up in the time that we grew up, being around, being able to see a lot of music, a lot of musical artists from, the 60s, while they were still touring, being able to, growing up in this space where we're kind of in between the generations, what our parents kind of grew up with, and then, all the new music that was happening in the 90s, early 2000s. So, I think that's it. I think it's just an accident of birth.
How important is storytelling in your songwriting, and how do you keep it authentic? I don't care about storytelling or authenticity, really.
Well, I like storytelling. Yeah, it's a big part of my writing, I guess, storytelling. I like to have beginning, middle, and end, but you don't want to be too rigid in it. I just learned there's something called narrative fatigue, and that makes sense. So
I didn't know it was called that. Fatigued on narrative for a while.
And yeah, it makes sense that is a thing. And but I like, action in songs. Kind of gives people something to grab onto. You can have a song. They're great songs. Some great songs are like a movie, and some are more like a painting. So. They're both equally valid.
What was the strangest, most memorable moment during the recording sessions?
I don't think there's anything. I mean, probably when Klooster did his overdubs on on Old Cowboys, we had this idea to. I don't know if it's a spoiler. We had this idea to kind of take it out into space. So yeah, some of the synth sounds he came up with are kind of juxtaposed, I guess, to the traditional feel of the song.
Had a physical storefront. What would the Sunshine Shop sell? Well, I mean, the actual Sunshine Shop was started to sell fruit baskets, I believe, and then kind of branched out into various kind of floral arrangements and teddy bears and
yeah, I think it's just
little gifty things that, you know, to bring people a little bit of joy, a little bit of sunshine in their life. I hate these ones. If you could describe the album in 3 words, what would it be? The Sunshine Shop. 3 words?
3 words. I don't know. I guess the album could be like a gift basket. A gift basket.